You are listening to the Andrew and Troy Show as we dive into the week of LGBTI news with our good friends at the Star Observer. Joining us on the phone is the editor, Elias Jahshan. Elias, how are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys?
Doing well. Happy we're at Purple Day.
Yes, happy we're purple indeed. I hope you guys are wearing purple where you are.
Oh, we are. I'm in my snazzy purple jacket and Andrew's in his designer Yomi t-shirt, which is all very good looking.
Cool. I'm wearing my bright purple Adidas hoodie.
Of course you are.
Yeah, it's about 5 years old or so, but I love it.
Yeah, perfect from out in Parramatta where you come from.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not the news, Elias. What is the news? Julia Gillard, what on earth is she on about? Or up to?
Yeah. Good old Julia Gillard has changed her mind on the state, on her position of marriage equality. She's now officially and publicly in favour of it. She made that declaration on Wednesday night at an address at at Victoria University. And funnily enough, she was in the presence of Michael Kirby when she made that address. So who knows? Maybe Michael Kirby had some sort of just some magic on her to change her mind. Who knows?
Oh.
But you know what? I guess a lot of people are saying it's too little, too late, and some people are saying better late than never. But at the end of the day, where she stands on this is not going to make a difference in terms.
Exactly, that's the biggest point, and I don't understand what the whole beat up throughout the media and on social media has been.
The news factor behind this is the fact that she is Australia's second most recent Prime Minister. If you just remember, Kevin Rudd was Prime Minister very briefly before Tony Abbott came on. So she is a former Prime Minister.
Yeah, but who cares? She's got no influence in politics anymore. She's got nothing to do with the political field. She has publicly said that she'll have nothing to do with politics ever again, yet she keeps on bringing out...
People say the same things every time John Howard comes out with something random.
Yeah, but he didn't publicly...
He was a former Prime Minister.
But didn't they publicly declare to each other, John Howard and Julia Gillard, that, on how it all goes, if they don't win... They'll both disappear into the ether and never be spoken of again. Didn't they declare that at the last election?
I highly doubt that would ever happen with any former Prime Minister. Malcolm Fraser, Gough Whitlam,
yeah, but at least,
Bob Hawke, Paul Keating.
At least they were good Prime Ministers.
They all find ways to sort of have some sort of profile, maintain their profile in the media to some extent. And I think that's just the nature of every single ex-politician, every single ex-leader, I should say.
Oh, of course.
Ex-premiers are the same thing, and ex-prime ministers and ex-presidents, former presidents of the United States do the exact same thing. They still find some way to maintain their profile.
Yeah.
And, whether you like it or not, they were elected for a certain period of time, and they have left a significant legacy in Australian history. So people would still be interested to hear what they have to say. I agree. Who cares really? Because it's not going to make a big difference in politics at all. What Julia Gillard has absolutely no influence in Labor or Liberal or anything in Canberra these days.
Yeah.
But the pure fact that she's a former Prime Minister and the fact that she's changed her mind 2 years after she's left office, is what makes it newsworthy.
Yeah.
And it just really brings back all these arguments that people had against her when she was supposedly against marriage equality back in the day, when so many people just were not convinced that she was genuinely against it. She was just using it as a political, she was saying she was using it as a public front, as a political tool to maintain power.
Or she was being pressured by the puppet masters of the unions in the Labor camp
Possibly. But look at Bill Shorten.
He is the puppet master,
the opposition leader, and he's a union man through and through, and he's publicly in favour of marriage equality. But I don't know. I think who knows? I mean, the faceless men or the faceless MPs of Labor probably did have a big part in this. Was the fact that she was against it for a while.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I'm just speculating.
All alleged. We've got to throw the word alleged in there just so we don't get ourselves sued.
Yeah. exactly. Yeah.
But more important news, and this is probably a little bit more newsworthy for our time, is the whole Gaby Baby documentary that has caused a little bit of a ruckus.
Yeah, and you know what? The only reason why it's caused a bit of a ruckus is because of that really horrible, one-sided, incredibly unbalanced front-page story from the Daily Telegraph, coupled with Piers Ackerman column, which essentially bullied a 12-year-old girl and told her she's not normal.
Yeah.
So just that combination alone is what caused the ruckus and the backlash from the community.
And uneducated.
The Daily Telegraph, the original front-page story, based information from one or two parents who were anonymous, who complained to the principal, but they did not seek or have any comments from the Gaby Baby documentary makers, or any comments from Wear It Purple, or any comments from the school students who were in favour, who turned out, who eventually publicly came in favour of having that documentary shown at their school.
Yeah.
That story was just really horribly written, and of course it was going to cause a ruckus.
Oh, of course. But you can't just point the finger at the Daily Telegraph. You've got to go to Talkback Radio. I enjoy Talkback Radio, and I listen to quite a fair amount of it, but the uneducated, unprepared reports that they were bringing out about this whole situation, most of them didn't even mention the fact that the director is a past student. Most of these reports and Talkback Radios didn't talk about the fact that it's all in conjunction with Wear It Purple Day. They just assumed that they were told to wear purple. They didn't explain why they were being told to wear purple, which is it's horrible reporting. It's like, if you're going to do this, you've got to get all your facts straight to present a fair argument to your listeners. Otherwise, your listeners, your talkback listeners, who, let's face it, it's 24-hour talk, are going to be calling up based on information of non-truths or half-truths.
And it's really interesting because, like you said, they really didn't talk about Wear It Purple Day, really, and it's almost like the Daily Telegraph had just discovered Wear It Purple Day.
It's only been running for 5 years.
It's been around for years now.
Yeah, it's in 2010.
Not only that, another really interesting point that I saw come up on Twitter was how, Piers Ackerman is one of Australia's highest paid columnists.
Yeah.
Yet for some goddamn reason, like a Year 9 student, he had to refer to the Oxford Dictionary to back up his argument on what the word normal means. So I think that is really, really unprofessional, relying on a dictionary rather than relying on, what human stories or human evidence.
Yeah. Look, that's just a cheap gimmick. So he's he's used a really cheap gimmick for the uneducated readers of his column. So he's gone, I've got the written gospel according to the Oxford Dictionary. This is what normal is. That's what he's done.
Yeah.
He's flown the flag up the flagpole to see who would salute, and it was just a cheap gag.
Yeah. And you know what? And even though Gaby Baby's been dragged into this really horrible controversy, I guess the silver lining in this whole controversy is that the Daily Telegraph had, without probably ever really intending to, given Gaby Baby so much publicity.
Well, yes.
And when it comes out in cinemas next week, people are going to go see it. It's probably going to have a really successful opening weekend.
They're going to want to see what the fuss is about.
Pardon?
They're going to see what the fuss is about. And I don't understand the link. They keep saying that this is linked to the political movement. It's got nothing. There's nothing political about this movie. It's just about gay kids who have, straight kids just kids who have gay parents. It's got nothing to do with the equality movement or the marriage equality movement at all. Exactly. It's just, I guess, because that is the hot topic at the moment. That they've drawn straws and joined the two as one without properly investigating it. And this is a movie about diversity and different sort of families. My goodness, it's like I guess it was the same arguments back when the Brady Bunch was on TV. Showing a non-nuclear family, two previously married people with their own children getting married again and having stepbrothers and stepsisters. It's the same argument. I guess this is before my time, but I like to think I'm well read. It was the same argument then, but that was a hugely successful show and hugely beneficial show to help, show others that this is a different norm. And I think this is the same thing with Gaby Baby. It's just showing other people's that this is, maybe not your norm, but this is the norm for other people. And to have that diversity thrown out of schools because they think it's a political agenda is rubbish. And whoever says that is a moron. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah. The main person who's been saying that it's the political agenda is some random Presbyterian pastor or minister from the area who just seems to be adamant on making sure that these girls don't get to watch this during school hours. Yet for some reason, no one was up in arms about the fact that this same school has had some religious sessions. This same school has had some. And all these other supposedly controversial things that are probably far more controversial than a documentary about families.
Reality versus a freaking
and
fiction
no
book.
one bat an eye. But for some reason, a documentary about families, essentially, regardless of whether it's the same-sex parent or not, at the end of the day, it's all about families.
Again, more picking and choosing from the religious people who think that they are always right. But this has been happening for forever. We've all been subjected to those exactly. Pulled out of school to go to religious sort of things. I went to a public school and we got dragged out to these things, and I was adamant about not going to these things, but was forced to go. Because that's what we're doing. And it's like, well, I don't want to do it. I don't want to learn about religion. Well, sorry, I don't want to be preached to about religion. Happy to learn about religion because it gives me ammunition. But it's just for years, school students have been dragged out of classes, out of education, to be taught about religion, and it's been fine with them for forever. And it's been over a decade since I went to school, probably a bit longer than that, probably about 15 years. And I'm sure it's still been happening since then. For them to come out and say this is not right, to be taught something about diversity and diversity within families, rubbish, absolute rubbish.
And not only that, it's just it's also to be taught about. The whole theme of the movie is diversity. You're right, diversity within families. That's the main theme.
Yeah.
But another underlying theme is it's to encourage acceptance and to encourage inclusiveness. And I don't understand what's the harm in that. Well, and I guess the people involved in that particular story in the Daily Telegraph. I mean, you need to acknowledge that not every single person in the Daily Telegraph was behind that story.
Yeah.
Only the particular journalist who wrote that story and the senior staff who decided to put it on the front page really should be the ones who are held accountable. And I guess I would, and Piers Atkins himself as well. From what I understand, not one of them have seen the documentary.
Yeah.
So they've jumped to this conclusion to say how much of an outrage it is when not one single one of them have seen the documentary.
Well, exactly, and let's point out the Guardian reported that there was not one single complaint that was sent to the school for their students going to see this movie, and let's also point out that. One of the cartoon in the Daily Telegraph, which had someone spraying rainbow paint over a kid with the word brainwash all over it. How revolting is that? This is, if anything, this is not brainwashing kids. This is not going to turn kids gay. This is going to give kids, and isn't this what school's for? It's going to bring up a new topic that the schools can talk about, that the kids can talk about it, whether it be in class or at home or in the playground, about different sort of families. Isn't this what education is about? We're exposing children to different family types. And wouldn't you prefer to have these kids exposed to this stuff so they can talk about it and they can form their own opinion? By all means, I'm sure some kids would watch that and think, oh, that's gross, that's terrible, I don't believe in that. Kids will do that. And then other kids will go, maybe I learned something today about different families. That's what education is about, isn't it? This is what we should be showing our children. Sorry, I'm very opinionated about this topic.
I agree. We definitely need to be showing our children these sorts of stories. They need to be educated from a young age that this is okay.
Yeah,
it's okay to be gay. It's okay to have same-sex parents. It's okay to be different. It doesn't make you any less of a human being that you're different.
Yeah.
I think the status quo, or when people have to conform to a certain social norm, that needs to be challenged because it's affecting so many kids right now. And
of course.
The more kids who understand that it's okay to be different, it's okay to be an individual and stand out from the crowd, the more we can encourage that and celebrate that and accept that and be more inclusive, the better society we will become.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. You can join the conversation. These stories and more are up on the starobserver.com.au website. They will be still on the front page this morning, so you can join the conversation. There's a comment box under each story, or you can jump on the Star Observer Facebook page and join the conversation there. Elias, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today.